At the beginning of the film, we observe a dark gateway. A criminal grabs a girl who screams exhaustingly and asks for help. However, no one hears the brunette in the dark night, and she remains at the mercy of the criminal. The man silently stuns her, and when the girl comes to her senses, strangles her with a plastic bag. That same night, Laura wakes up. The cybersecurity specialist goes down to the basement to relieve herself of heavy but pleasant memories with grueling workouts. Laura then takes a bath and talks to her husband. The lady lies that she has just woken up, although she really hasn't. At breakfast, the couple are silent and barely exchange 2 phrases. Meanwhile, policeman Jasper gets into his car and goes to work. At the same time, the police arrive at the scene of the crime and find a brunette woman who is motionless in a pose for prayers. The doctor records that the perpetrator gave the girl this position almost immediately to fixate in it, which means that it was important to him. The brunette was taken from her life near the warehouse, but is found at the entrance to the women's shelter. The doctor discovers a memory stick in the victim's hands. Jasper goes to the witness and learns that the brunette's name was Emilia, and she lived in the house for several weeks. The landlady tells him that the shelter is often threatened, but she never imagined that something like this would happen. At this time, Sandra, who works in the department, calls Laura. A friend asks a specialist to come and check the memory card if she is ready to work. Her husband is against the idea, but Laura won't listen to him. Jasper talks to the lady and learns that she knows nothing about the criminal's case and just came to help with the memory card. Laura cracks the code and discovers that her password is called Angel Maker. Soon, the perpetrator himself is called that. On the memory stick is a video of Emily's brutal massacre. Laura agrees to help in the investigation, and the policeman takes her with him to interview the brunette's parents. After examining Emily's room, Jasper and the specialist guess that the girl undressed for money on camera. In her room, there are a lot of cosmetics, expensive clothes, and a webcam for $7,000. Emily's parents weren't aware of her work, but her mother says they haven't had normal contact for a year, so such secrecy may well have arisen. Laura takes a computer from the house and promises to give the cop a full list of people the brunette has ever had contact with in a couple of hours. After a visit to Emily's parents, the partners head to the morgue. The doctor has already examined the brunette and is ready to provide a full medical report. Standing beside Emily, the lady recalls how her doctor informed her that her fetus was sick and it was better to abort it. Meanwhile, new information is coming. The Angel Maker took Emily's life with a wire hook used to get rid of unwanted pregnancies. It turns out that Emily had an abortion at their hospital about a year ago. Jasper believes the perpetrator punished the girl for the act. In the office, Laura looks through the brunette's computer and finds out that she had a regular client named Bob, who lives in their town. The guy bought a video of Emilia the day before the tragedy. Sandra agrees that Bob should definitely be questioned. The partners go to the guy's house and present a search warrant. Bob is in a severe panic, however he turns out to have a good alibi, which excludes him from the list of suspects. In the evening, Laura returns home and sees that her husband has decided to go to bed on the sofa, as he is upset about her return to work. To relax, she goes to the basement again and gives herself a workout. Meanwhile, the Angel Maker attacks another girl. A man calls out to Lena, and meanwhile the perpetrator strangles her with a plastic bag, hiding behind a rubbish bin. In the morning, the husband asks Laura not to forget to buy a drink for the evening. The lady agrees and says she will definitely do it on her way home from work. The husband is not thrilled, as he thought Laura was talking about helping out on a small case. She heads off to work when Jasper receives a call reporting a new victim. The partners immediately move to the scene. Laura is angry that the journalists already know what happened, but the policeman replies that it's their job, for which it's strange to blame them. The partners arrive at the scene, where they meet a doctor. The one informs that the handwriting of the same criminal, who has already been nicknamed Angel Maker, is on the ground. Lena was transported to the freezer and took her life somewhere else. However, the memory card has yet to be discovered by the doctor. While the partners are interviewing the owner of the freezer, the doctor discovers the memory card inside Lena. Laura goes with the policeman to the office and examines the information received. The specialist discovers a virus on the card, which immediately disappears. Laura goes to a friend, who tells her that the video from the first memory card is in the news. The lady guesses that with the first virus, the Angel Maker has hacked into their system and can now view all reports and data, as well as send and delete it at will. Laura is furious that the cops let her insert an unfamiliar memory stick into a networked computer. Laura hacks into Lena's medical records and discovers that she too has terminated a pregnancy. Just then, a message comes on the specialist's laptop saying that it is extremely amusing to see a person who has terminated a pregnancy being investigated for crimes related to it. Additionally, the Angel Maker says he likes their office. Chatting with the criminal, Laura tries to track down his whereabouts. The Angel Maker informs her that he has rid the world of another person who has terminated a pregnancy. The criminal then passes out, and Laura is unable to track him down. The lady decides to ask for help from a hacker she knows. Even though Alex doesn't like the policeman, he agrees to find the Angel Maker for 5,000 crowns. To pull this off, the hacker puts up for sale a t-shirt for which Jasper has to pay such a large sum. After the payment, Alex starts to work. Laura is about to send the hacker her login from the police account and sees messages from her husband that dinner has been ready for a while. Outside, she invites Jasper over for dinner. The policeman realizes that Laura only needs him to justify herself to her husband, but agrees nonetheless. A lady decides to go to take water and remembers how her husband decided to bury their unborn child. After learning that her husband has complained about her to his friends, Laura confronts Monica and tells her that she shouldn't come to her house and teach her about life if she doesn't have a job and nothing to do. When most of the guests leave, her husband says he'll spend the night at a friend's house and come back in the morning to get his things. Jasper stays with the specialist and offers her a drink. The policeman says he has to go home for a while, but he'll be back in a couple of hours. Laura talks about her termination of the pregnancy and saying goodbye to her son. The Angel Maker, meanwhile, is not slumbering and strangles another victim with a bag, caught on the street on a dark night. The girl desperately resists, and the criminal has to deprive her of oxygen with his bare hands. In the morning, Laura goes to work and learns about another missing person, presumably a victim of the Angel Maker. In addition, Alex manages to find out the address of the perpetrator. The partners go to the warehouse of containers and interview the owner. The man tells about a suspicious tenant who hides his face and always pays in cash. The partners break into the container and find Michelle missing inside. Jasper realizes that the girl is still alive and decides to take her off the hook. However, the perpetrator's explosive device goes off, making both Laura and the policeman unconscious. The Angel Maker enters the container and with a pistol shot takes Michelle's life. Laura manages to get a glimpse of the criminal. Waking up in the hospital, the lady asks about Jasper's well-being and then goes to the office. Laura tells her friend that she managed to see the criminal and she can draw his portrait. Sandra asks to send this portrait to all the patrolmen, and she herself is going to give it to the journalists. At night, the Angel Maker enters the home of the orphanage's landlady. The mother is angry at Ludwig for not removing the evidence before he left. The Angel Maker tells her that he is going to blow up the hospital where women are helped to have abortions and where he himself lost his child. It turns out that the mother of the unborn child was Ludwig's first victim, Emilia. The mother begs the Angel Maker to stop, but he is determined to punish everyone involved. Afterwards, the orphanage mistress kisses Ludwig on the lips. During the night, the Angel Maker attacks Laura, but it turns out to be just a bad and scary dream. Jasper wakes the lady up and offers her breakfast before work. The policeman says that after catching the criminal, Laura should seek help as the past is tormenting her and driving her crazy. Jasper wants to ask Sandra to take Laura off the case, but she asks him to give her exactly 24 hours, as she has a plan. The specialist creates an article that praises the skills of a criminal who has cleverly evaded the police time and time again. Laura is sure that the angel maker will often return to the site and read this text, and they will be able to track him down. Soon, the lady manages to find a suspicious user who has visited their site 9 times and regularly sits on forums and sites that advocate the prohibition of abortion. Laura realizes that they have found the criminal. The address leads them to the shelter. The owner looks at the portrait of the perpetrator and lies that she has never seen him. The partners manipulate the woman, and she tells them about Ludwig. Laura and a policeman manage to find out where the maker of angels is hiding, and they go there. Ludwig warns Jasper that his child will have to grow up without a father if he doesn't lower his gun, because the barrels in front of them contain a dangerous substance, and he has a detonator in his hand. The criminal talks to Laura about her son, whom she has taken her life. The lady can't stand it and takes Ludwig's life with one shot. Sandra praises Laura for her actions, but to avoid problems after the investigation is over, asks her to have a holiday. When her husband comes to take his things, Laura starts crying, apologizes, and asks him to stay. When she wakes up in the morning, she sees the armed owner of the shelter in her room. The woman brings Laura to the shelter where her husband is being held hostage, as well as Jasper and his wife. The lady must shoot 2 of the hostages and rescue a third. However, the landlady doesn't keep her promise and injures Jasper's wife herself. To save her husband and the policeman, Laura shoots herself and then eliminates the hostess. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.